We come now to smuggling days. Now, smuggling in Cornwall, of course, was very rare, and was nothing for them to take a donkey up on the cliff and have a lantern hanging on, walk the donkey up, turn the donkey around, put the lamp on the other side, and walk him back. Now, a boat out there would think he was all right, and he would come in. Of course, he was on the rocks. Now, I suppose they used violence at times, and other times they probably, if it was dark night blowing, they would wait till daylight and pick what they could then. Anyhow, that's what they used to do. And the last known smuggler in West Cornwall was my great-grandfather, known as Bobo George. There's a photograph of him I was in Helston Museum. Anyhow, of course, they had to be careful. Customs was about. And I heard my mother tell the story many times, that her grandmother was bathing the baby in the kitchen. Of course, there was no bath. Tin bath, bathing the baby, sitting down bathing, and the customs officer came in. I spoke to them, and I don't know what else, whether he asked questions, whether he had a cup of tea or not, I don't know. Anyhow, he came and he went. And my great-grandmother, when she was bathing the baby, was sitting on a keg of brandy with a crinoline skirt all over it. So you see, that's what they were up to those days.
Yeah.
Now, when I was a young lad, of course, there was a lot of sailing ships still about. And, of course, steam. And if we had a very strong east wind, a gale force east wind, boats couldn't go up around the Lizard. They used to shelter in here from Mullion Island, perhaps to Portland, no farther. And one year there was 136 boats moored in that area, and they were there for 10 days. And they come in with the boats, because the water here was calm.
Yeah.
They came in, go up the shops to buy bread, whatever, tobacco, all that. But of course now, this day, radio, they don't need it. So, and we're talking about the smugglers bringing boats in. Of course, other boats got wrecked. And round the coast of Cornwall, as silly Isles can prove, wrecks were 2 a penny almost. Frequent. And of course, if wrecks happened, it meant drownings. And it was nothing unusual to go down on the beach and find a body or bodies washed up. Now, what they did was, if they found a body, they wrapped him in Hessian or sailcloth or whatever they had, and brought him up and laid him in the church tower. That was the mortuary. From the 15th century, because that was when it was built, the tower. And they laid it there. Well, of course, there had to be an inquest. So the coroner came. He held his inquest in the little pub. That's where he held his inquest. He had the information he wanted: cause of death, drowning, body unknown. He then gave orders for burial. They came, whoever it was at that time, took the body out, still wrapped up, no coffins. The parish couldn't afford coffins. They took him out and buried him in the churchyard. Now, there's no marked grave. And if you take note of Mullion churchyard, there's not a lot of tombstones, and a lot of open spaces. Well then, in 1913, they closed the churchyard. I can remember it being closed. I can remember the last burial there. And they opened a new cemetery. The reason being that because of the unmarked graves, the sexton was disturbing human bones time and time again. He didn't know where he was digging. And that's why in 1913 they opened the new cemetery. And as I told you earlier, the first person buried there was Mrs. Thomas from the Mullion Hotel.